And we are back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dark Phoenix Gaming, and you are watching Kaiserreich, Legacy of the Weltkrieg, as the Netherlands. In our last episode, we finally began setting up our intelligence network, which we have primarily spying on the Frenchies right now, with one just sort of loosely keeping an eye on Germany to make sure they don't try anything funny. But more importantly than that, things in Germany's sphere of influence right now are not looking particularly great. I say this because thus far, Poland, who previously was somewhere between being a German vassal state and being fully independent, basically, Germany guaranteed their independence and had military access to their lands, which is sort of like Germany has a lot of political influence over their nation, but doesn't actually control it in any way, as I can see it. Anyways, Poland had a syndicalist uprising, and they are now totalists, which is basically the whole Big Brother is watching type of thing. Other than that, there was a military coup in Finland, which ended with Germany essentially being expunged in any significant way from Finland, and Karl Gustav Mannerheim, who those of you who are history buffs from World War II may remember for his starring role in being one of the main defensive strategists in holding off the Soviet Union during the Winter War, is now effectively in charge of Finland, while he quote-unquote stabilizes the country. We'll see if he actually relinquishes power or just turns Finland into his own personal military dictatorship. Personally, I'm betting on him turning Finland into his personal dictatorship, but that's just me. Other than that, there was some stuff off in Asia, but who cares about Asia? So now, let's hit unpause and see what happens this time. Shall we? We shall. We're shelling right now. Let's check our recruitment queue. We still haven't got the infantry equipment we need to recruit any divisions. And we have an event already. Crumbling of the Pillars. Dutch society has long been highly stratified into distinct social groups, referred to as pillars. These pillars all have their own social institutions, their own newspapers, broadcasting organizations, political parties, trade unions, and farmers' associations, banks, schools, hospitals, universities, scouting organizations, and sports clubs. Some companies even hire only personnel of a specific religion or ideology. This has led to a situation where many people have no personal contact with people outside their own pillar. However, the recent economic crisis has shaken the established order to its core. Economic hardship has spread socialist ideology beyond the established pillar, with syndicalists and council communists emboldened by the rhetoric emanating from Paris. At the same time, many young and unemployed from the more traditionally rightist pillars are feeling disenfranchised and abandoned by their condition. turning instead to radical nationalist parties such as the Alliance for National Reconstruction, the VNH, to restore stability and prosperity to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Dear God, no! And from that, we lose 7 stability. Fortunately, we have managed to gain back some stability recently, due to some national focuses and other things. Because if we were still at minus 16, I would have to be a lot more worried. That said, 22 is not great. And some Chinese random faction has just fallen into civil war. Right, because we care about China. Of course we do. Unione Sindacalista achieves Italian majority. The 5th Congress of the Socialist Republic of Italy has ended with the Unione Sindacalista, led by Palmiro Togliatti, continuing its mandate by achieving a majority of seats in the government. The Unione Sindacalista have held control in the Republic since the end of the Weltkrieg, and this continuation of their regime likely signals a likely solidification of their alliance with the Commune of France. No surprises there. This is apparently what we expected to happen. There are some other ways that the Italians can go, including putting Mussolini in charge of Italy, which makes them a lot more militant and aggressive than they typically are. Because, and I know I just kind of threw that out there, Mussolini is a socialist in this timeline, which is interesting because in our actual history, Mussolini was also a socialist. It's just that when World War I started, he figured, hey, wait a minute, this war could make it a lot easier for us to overthrow the government and bring about revolution everywhere. And so suddenly he was for the war when all the socialists were against it, so they didn't like that and kicked him out of the party, hence why he started the fascists. But I guess since socialism is a lot more widespread in this timeline, he didn't bother to do that and just started a different branch of socialism rather than a whole new political ideology, which is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But we have another event to deal with. I did tell you that early Kaiserreich was very event-focused, so I hope you saw this coming. If not, then you have no one to blame but yourself, I'm afraid. The Sutarjo petition. A petition that has passed by the Volksrat has arrived on the desk of Prime Minister Colin, and been sent to us by the Governor-General Bonifacius de Jonge. Apparently the petition calls for a Congress to speak about the future of the status of the Dutch East Indies within the kingdom. The Volksrat has already removed all time limits the original proposal included, so the Prime Minister made his choice already and went to hand it in the House of Representatives. Somewhere next year sounds good. Gives us another event. Flemish resistance calls for aid. Backed into a corner by superior Flemish Walloon forces, the remnants of the Flemish resistance have contacted us to request intervention in the Second Belgian Revolution. They are willing to support reunification with the Netherlands should we assist them, and are hoping for a peaceful resolution to the conflict through our influence. Well, this is interesting. So, if we support a Flemish resistance movement, we could potentially get some Belgian territory. More land for ourselves. Nice. I say we go for it. Potentially retaking Belgium was one of my stated goals for this campaign, after all. We will support the Flemish resistance. Belgium will get the Dutch Intervention Treaty of Tennezen event. Okay. Give a second. We completed a national focus as well as radio, and Flanders has joined the Reichspakt. As a result of all that, we now have 2 more things that we can research. Just give me a moment here. We have the 1936 fighter craft that we're going to need. Let's check that. Let's see. I am going to go for support weapons 1. First of all, get us some better support weapons. And then support companies. Field hospital, I think. But now we have the opening to do some more with our focus in terms of the military thing right now. So that's where we're going with this next. And since we still can't really do much of anything else at the moment, I'm going to go down the focus on defense route. As I've said before, being mobile with our army isn't really going to benefit us very much, since strategically speaking, we'd get our best outcome out of effectively turtling up and making the Netherlands into a fortress. We can just defend ourselves and hold off any attempts to take our lands. Which is why we will be going down the focus on defense route. Our land is a brutal morass, a place of swamps, marshes, and sturdy men. By playing to the Netherlands' strengths, we shall make our enemies bleed for every inch they take. We get research bonus for superior firepower and grand battle plan. Just playing into what I was saying in the last episode about how either superior firepower or grand battle plan were our best go-to. Flanders. Also, as a result of our intervention there, Flanders Wallonia has split into Flanders and Wallonia and been partitioned between us. Flanders is ours, and Wallonia is Germany's. Also, in terms of sheer amount of land, we appear to have gotten the lion's share. But the fact that we got the half that is more culturally aligned with us is definitely a good thing. Let's just see what national focus options they can go for. Well, we have to wait on the Flemish to do it themselves, apparently, but there is actually an option in the Flemish focus tree they can go down, which will result in them being annexed by us, just because they chose full integration, which is quite handy. Now back up to 5 speed. German ultimatum. Oh dear. Unhappy with our recent expansion into their territory, the Reich has given us the chance to right our supposed fault and join their Reichspakt alliance. They strongly insisted that disobeying their request will result in an immediate declaration of war, for which we are not at all prepared. Oh dear. I did not want to get myself entangled in Germany's mess. Not at all. But, as it says, if we reject, they will go to war with us. And we are in no way ready to fight Germany. We have 8 divisions in our entire military. 8. 12 if we include Flanders. 22 if we include our colony in the East Indies. Germany, even just in mainland Europe, has, well, a lot more than that. Plus, they have all their puppet states over in the east. It need not be said, we are not ready for a war with Germany. We are not in any way ready. If we'd had maybe another year or so, in order to get ourselves prepared, maybe get some defenses in place and a few more divisions, we might have had a shot, but right now, no. Basically, this is either we join the Reichspakt or we die. I don't think we have a choice here. We have to join up. I'm hoping there is some way that we can leave later on. I'm hoping we can leave somehow later on. Or, at the very least, keep ourselves from being destroyed by the communists. That was not a choice I wanted to make, but... yes. En hij fluistert haar zachtjes in het oor. Het sinds even geliefkoosde wijsje. En dat vindt in haar hartje gehoor. Germany would have crushed us into the ground had we tried anything. That was our only option. It really was. Tot een vrouwtje gekozen, blij het oog op de toekomst gericht. Rise of the radical left. After the SDAP's co-founder P.E.J. Trillestra's abortive attempt at founding a Dutch republic in 1918, the non-committal response by the party's moderate wing The more radical revolutionary elements have abandoned the Social Democrats in order to pursue their hopes of overthrowing the old system in more like-minded company. The SDAP's slight drift rightwards has only emboldened their radical counterparts in the Revolutionnaire Socialiste, RSAP. Thank you, game. Thank you. A relatively small party in Parliament that sees itself as his successors, working within the system to overthrow it. Even further to the left and outside the realm of conventional parliamentary politics, the National Arbeid Secretariat, or NAS, is the primary syndicalist labor organization in the Netherlands, seeking to replace the old system in its entirety and restructure it according to the French model, with tacit support from Paris. In many ways similar, the Council Communists and their election boycotting KAPD rally behind the astronomer and Marxist theorist Anton Pannekoek, or Koek even. There are even some for whom the syndicalist council communist approach is too conservative. The Patrioten authoritarian socialists led by David Winkoop and Paul de Groot see themselves as the guardians of the revolution, claiming to intend to keep it away from the tendency of falling to a new elitism. Many of their ideas are consistent with the ideology the Internationale recently codified as vanguardism. With all these factions vying for the chance to leave their own mark on the history of the Netherlands, the parliamentary democratic system is well and truly under siege from the left. More radical leftists? Good lord. And by the way, we recently had one of our operatives captured. I didn't bother to read the text because it was just operative captured. And I am going to send one of our own off to try and rescue them, I think. Here we go. Agents will be delivered close to the shore on one of our submarines. I've already reconnoitered possible landing sites and the timing of enemy patrols to avoid detection. Our operative is moved by car between the prison they are kept in and the place where they are being interrogated. We know the route and will send a small unit to lay an ambush, kill the guards, and free our operative. Our agents will lay low and blend into the population until they are ready for the next mission. Should an opportunity arise to exfiltrate by other means, they will take it. Okay. Let's do this. You may commence when ready. You may commence when ready. Join the Kaiser Wilhelm Society. I don't even know what the Kaiser Wilhelm Society is, but no. We're not getting ourselves any more entangled in German affairs than we have to. Bad enough that we had to agree to be Germany's bitch so they wouldn't invade us. We will do the absolute minimum we can get away with. And at the first available opportunity, should such thing exist, I will be attempting to leave the Reichspakt. That is my plan. Formation of the Christelijke Nationale Alliante. For decades, the Dutch parliament has been dominated by the various religious parties. The Calvinist ARP and CHU and Catholic RKSP have held a convincing majority in the government and have been the source of almost all ministerial appointments. However, they can no longer count on the unconditional and unwavering support of their respective pillars. While still dominant in their own spheres, they are losing ground to the far left and far right fringe movements. And even among the moderate audience, the pull of the left liberal and social Democrats is growing, with each of these parties bleeding votes. And despite their pillars' strict separation in daily life, they are now attempting to cash in on their decades-long cooperation by erasing their party lines. The formation of the Christian National Alliance, or CNA, is likely going to cost them more votes in the long run, but the consolidation of parliamentary seats and popular support still makes the CNA a political juggernaut that dwarfs all other parties. Time will tell whether this will be enough to counteract the increasing erosion of their voter base, or whether the primacy of God in politics is coming to an end. United in faith, we lose 2% stability, and the social conservatives are now called the CNA. I'm not going to try to pronounce that again, once was bad enough. We also now only have 12% stability. Things are getting bad. Creation in the international avant-garde. A combined effort by the Commune of France, the Union of Britain a few days ago has birthed the International Avant-Garde, a program that aims to create a united art style for art and genre for music, as well as new literacy techniques, each of them encouraged to be socialist, unorthodox, anti-traditionalist, and anti-religious. It's reported that artists, writers, and musicians from all around the world will participate in this program, from the United States to South Africa to Japan. The first festival to show off the fruits of the program is planned to happen within 2 years at Cannes. Is this the dawn of the new syndicalist entertainment? Truly curious indeed. Syndicalist art. Such a bizarre concept, truly. And order has been restored in Flanders. While Flanders still labors under Dutch control, the Flemish military has asserted enough control over its own borders that a semblance of autonomy is now possible. This is not independence, far from it. It does mean they no longer have to rely on Dutch troops to secure their borders and are thus not so tightly under our control. So all that really means is that Flanders is now a puppet rather than an occupied puppet, because they have enough basic control over their own affairs that they can manage things themselves without us needing to babysit them, essentially. And Germany East Asia has declared war on the Indo-Chinese Union. Yeah. I'm not going to actually read this particular event, but basically, it's the Viet Cong and the NVA uprising / Vietnamese effort for independence and such. Just in this case, unlike IRL, 1, it's happening against Germany and not France. 2, the goal in this case is a unified Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laotian superstate rather than independent nations. And finally, the rebellion is happening in the south of the territory rather than the far north. Other than that, not much difference, from what I can tell. Though it doesn't usually tend to turn into a Vietnam-style thing with foreign powers sending thousands of troops to try and hold things back or anything. It doesn't tend to usually go that way. Okay. You know, now that we have a modicum of a chance to pull this off, I'm considering, once we have freed that operative, attempting to infiltrate the French army. But we'll see. It all depends on how things look in the end. Random East Asian countries declaring war on each other. Do not care about that. Read it yourself if you're interested. We do not care about China. This is in China. Queen's Day. It is the Queen's birthday and thus the national holiday. People across the country are celebrating the monarchy, but surely also what it means to be Dutch. As usual, Queen Wilhelmina and the rest of the royal family are not taking part in public festivities due to the need to maintain their royal dignity. Still, thousands of well-wishers are gathered outside the Sodicic palace with flags crying out with joy, and I probably butchered the name of that palace. Hip hip hooray! 20 political power. Okay. It is now the 1st of September. Quite a lot has happened so far. Even though we're 4 episodes in, and it's not even 1937 yet. Like I said, I'm taking things slow for this series. We're just gonna let things happen as they happen, basically. And we'll see how this goes. In any case, with all of that, I think this is a good place to end the episode. So, this has been Dark Phoenix Gaming. You've been watching Kaiserreich with the Netherlands. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to see more like this. I upload new episodes of Kaiserreich every Tuesday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time, so if you want to catch the episodes as they go out, that's when to look for them. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you again for the next episode of Kaiserreich. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then, folks. See you then. So long for now.